The property market in New Zealand is, well, it's toast, right, at the moment. I mean, it's just, it's the worst it's been in many, many years. And not surprisingly, really, the economy is stuffed. People are leaving the country. And of course, the people leaving are the smart, motivated people with get up and go. So they've got up and gone, right? And more are probably to follow, unfortunately, which means we're left with, more of the elderly and kind of the no-hopers, which is a big drain on the few people that work and pay tax, which is why they're talking about increasing taxes again, and Labor's talking about, bringing in capital gains tax again and more tax on this, that, and the other. What they can't seem to understand is that, the last Labor government wasted more money, right? Burned more taxpayer money than I think any government ever before has done, and everything's got worse. So they always act as though bringing in more taxes is this savior, that more tax is just going to make it fair and then the poor people are going to be better off. It's complete nonsense. I mean, you get more tax and the government wastes more money. It's as simple as that. The only thing increased taxes is about envy, all right? They see people doing well and they want to tax them because it's not fair, because they're not doing well. But the main reason that a lot of people aren't doing well is because they're not putting the effort in. They're not doing the things that the people who are succeeding are doing. And the same goes for people who say, rich people, it's because of inheritance. It's because of this, that, and the other, all of these advantages. Again, that's nonsense. Most of the people who are doing well today, who will be considered wealthy today, are people who've got that way in one lifetime. People like me with immigrant parents. Now, we started in the Coromandel with nothing, right? I went overseas after the Air Force and I had nothing, right? I had a few $100s, was probably it. And I've built up from there, and lots of other people can do that as well. But you've got to be focused. You've got to work hard. You've got to learn absolutely everything that you can. You've got to be learning every day, and whether that's reading books, watching videos, doing courses, you've just got to constantly be at it. You've got to put the effort in. You've just got to do the work. And that's the problem with the left. They don't want to do the work. A lot of them are lazy. They're entitled. There are a lot of people born in New Zealand who think that, they deserve stuff. They deserve a certain standard of living because they're alive. I mean, no, it doesn't work like that. If you don't do anything, you don't get anything. That's just the way that life is. But look, coming back to property, I think this is a time we're going to look back and go, wow, I should have bought then. Doom and gloom. The rates are still high, but they are coming down. Lots of negativity. Just a terrible time to be out there buying property. That's when you make money, right? You don't make money right away. You buy the property now, like I've been doing. I've been buying sites recently, and it'll take years before I make money on it, and because I have to go ahead and fight my way through council to get consents. There's more and more hurdles than ever. A lot of infrastructure restrictions. Councils haven't invested in their sewer and water and all the other systems, which they should be. They're wasting money on cycleways and other woke rubbish, instead of actually putting the things into the ground that we need to build more housing. But look, all of this is opportunity. Where there's a problem, there's a problem to be solved, and the person who solves the problem makes the money from it. And that's the way you need to look at property development. You're a problem solver. You're out there looking for sites that other people aren't looking at or don't think there's any value there, and you've got to dig those out, and it takes a lot of work. You could look at 100 properties and only buy one. So again, it's about putting the work in. It's about taking the time. You should have a spreadsheet for yourself with all the property that you look at, and make sure you're seeing everything that's coming on the market in your area. Anything of interest, put the details in. Put in the date, the address, the property, the square meters, the number of bedrooms, garage, no garage, estimated price. Talk to the real estate agent, find out what they think it could sell for, what it's worth, what you can do with the property. Put in a column there too. You know, number of units potentially, whether you could build townhouses or duplexes, or whether it's something you can just subdivide. And start building up your own database, right? So yes, you've got data available, screeds of it online, but you want to personalize as much as possible. Make it easy. So when these sites come on, a new property that comes on, you get quicker and quicker at assessing it, okay? You can just look at it and go, nah, maybe, interesting, have a quick look, you know? Call the agent, have a talk about it. Yeah, maybe. Put it in your sheet as reference, move on. Next one. Then you'll get one that's interesting, right? And then you'll call the agent, find out a little bit more about it, and maybe you'll go and have a look. And then if you're interested, you get it under contract, do some more work on it. And again, you might walk away from it. You put that information in your sheet and you carry on. So it's just a process. Something you might want to consider too is, instead of calling the agent that's listed the property, if you have an agent in the area that you like and you can start working with, when you see a property that you like, contact them, your agent. It doesn't matter whether they're on the listing agreement, whether they have anything to do with the property whatsoever. They can work for you as a buyer's agent. They'll get a share of the commission from the listing agent. Okay, now listing agents listening to this won't like that because they get less commission, but tough. You know, you've got to do what's right for you. You've got to do what works. And some listing agents are completely hopeless, right? I don't know what the percentage is today, but I think that in most cities, 20% of the real estate agents would do 80% of the business. And a lot of the others are a complete waste of space. You know, there are real estate agents in the business who the only house that they list is their aunties or their brothers. You know, they get the odd listing. They don't really know what they're doing. They often underprice the properties because they're poorly marketed. They're unknown. You don't see them anywhere. You know, and look, the same goes if you're selling a property. Look at the busy agents, right? Look at the ones who you see everywhere. Look at the ones where their names pop up. They've constantly got properties being listed. Those people get noticed. People see them, which means if you list your property with them, people will see your property. This is why it's that 80-20 rule, right? Why 20% of the agents do so well. And in reality, it's probably more like 5% of the agents probably do 90% of the business, really. It'll be the big agents who've got teams. So they'll do similar to what I'm doing with personal brands. Someone will build their personal brand, right? And most people will know that real estate agent because they have strong brand recognition. What those agents do is list property. That's all they do, okay? They're the person, you would call them and go, I want to list my property. You get one of their team members. They'll set up a meeting with that known person, the listing agent. He or she will come out to your property and do an appraisal. Not always, often the real busy ones, you won't even get to meet them. But you can insist on it. I would. And so those guys will come out, guys or girls, right? And they'll come out, meet with you, look at the property, and then you'll get an appraisal. And from then on, you're probably going to work with their team again. Because the money in real estate is listing the property. It's you once you control the listing, you control the property, you control the vendor, and then you get money. So if you list the property, it doesn't matter if you sell it or your team sells it. It doesn't even matter if your agency sells it. It could be another agency. They could be a Ray White agent and a Harcourt agent sells it. The person who listed still makes money. So the entire real estate game is about listing property. Now, that it doesn't mean it's... I don't have a view on it. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it whatever? That's just the way that it is, okay? And it took me a little while to work that out. And I just thought I'd share that with you because it's good to know, I think, how the system works. Now, one of the other things, this wasn't going to be a training on real estate agents, but, you know, look, here we go. The next thing they'll do, as soon as they list your property, they'll say your property's worth $1 million, right? If you sign up with them, the next day, they'll tell you that the market's changed and now your property's worth $900,000. And then they'll start giving you lots of reasons why it's worth $900,000. There's a whole lot of listings on the market near you that are only worth $900,000. I don't know, interest rates have gone up, immigration's gone down, whatever it might be. And they'll start beating you down on price. to make it easier to sell your property. This is called conditioning. It's something real estate agents are taught to do. So just be aware of that they will constantly try and push down the value of your property in your mind to make it easier to sell, because they get the same commission regardless of whether they show the property once or 100 times. Now, there is a lot of property on the market at the moment. I think something like 30,000 listings. It's not the most ever we've had in the past. These kind of numbers used to be quite normal. It's been as low as sort of 25,000 listings during sort of boom times. But so 30 is not the end of the world, but it is a lot, and it's going to take time to work through. So it means that there's a good opportunity for you now to go out there and look at property. You've got a lot of property to look through. It's a buyer's market. You can do the deals. There are people out there who really want to sell. They've had no offers. So it's a good time, but it's hard. This is the time when it's hard to buy. When it's the good time to buy is when it's tough. And it's those, the heroes online, a few years ago. Oh, well, I'm gonna buy when the market drops 50% because, I'm not buying now because I'm the world's greatest property trader. Yeah, and those guys now, where are they? They're crying somewhere under their beds because they're too scared to go out and look at property and make offers, right? It's hard to do. Most people want to go with the herd, right? They want to do what everybody else is doing. When they go to the barbecue or the dinner with the friends or they talk to their neighbors, they don't want to be seen to be different. They don't want to do something that maybe doesn't work out and they lose money, and then someone says to them, oh, I could have told you that. This now's not a good time. You shouldn't be buying, blah, blah, blah. The expert who doesn't own any property. There are plenty of those. So just keep that in mind as well. And this comes back to, to setting goals. You need to be clear what you want, how you want your life to run, what goals you want to achieve, and you need to set those goals and work towards those goals, and not worry too much about what other people think. Who cares what other people think? Most of the time, other people are thinking about themselves. Really, that's the reality. Everyone's thinking about themselves. How do I look? What do people think of me? Did I say the right thing? Did I say the wrong thing? It's just bollocks. It just takes up too much time and energy. Who cares? Live your own life. Let people live theirs, and just get on with it. There's a ton of opportunity. There are so many things that I see daily. I think, man, I could set up a business around this, or I could do that, or if you actually want to get ahead, you want to achieve, you want to do something, there is plenty of opportunity. Even in negative New Zealand today, there is plenty of opportunity. I mean, just look at the Property Development Club. I decided in April of this year that I wanted to set that up. I now have nearly 300 people on board, 300 professionals, people who are doing pretty well in their own fields, who are interested in getting into property development. They want to learn, they want to get ahead, a really good group of smart, motivated people who want to get ahead. And we don't have any tall poppy in the Property Development Club, right? We're celebrating people who succeed. We're celebrating people who want to do well. If people have got big goals, then awesome, mate. Good on you. Have you thought about setting them even bigger? That's the kind of club that it is. So, if you're interested in that, the Property Development Club, just go to propertydevelopmentclub.com or send me a message and come and join us, because I'm trying to build a really strong group of people here who want to get into property development, who want to do property investment, who want to share information, share their knowledge, just like I'm doing, to help everybody succeed. I mean, I want to everyone should be lifted up. This is the thing that really bugs me about tall poppy. It's all about dragging everybody down, like, ooh, he's making money, let's tax him more, let's try and hold him back. That's just, what's the point of that? It just makes everybody worse off. If we can share our knowledge and help each other succeed. If I see someone who's done really well in property, or really well with that development, what did you do? Tell me about it. Let me learn from it. And that's something we're trying to do on our Wednesday calls, get people to share some information, bring on their properties. It's same with problems, Hey, I've got this problem. How do I fix it? There's somebody else has seen it. Most things have been done before. That's one of the nice things about property is the industry's hardly changed. Really, yeah, there's a bit more tech in it, But at the end of the day, it's all the same. We still build houses the way that we did, 20 years ago when I started building them. Nothing's really changed. So you can learn about it, or you can, if you ask people, there's a good chance that someone has encountered the problem that you've got, and they've got a way of solving it. But that's only one way. And that's another thing about property. There's so many different variations to everything. You look at a house. I'll see a development site. You'll see a house that could be split into two, or someone else will see one that could be renovated, or bedrooms could be added. There's so many things you can do with it, and that's one of the things I really like. But coming back to now, it is a tough time to buy. But I think that if you do buy now, you'll be pleased that you did, And look, I don't get anything out of it. Whether you buy a property or not, I'm not getting a commission. If a couple of thousand more people buy a house today, it doesn't really affect my portfolio value. I'm just giving you the advice that I know. I've been a property investor for 27 years. I've been a developer for 20 years. I have learned a few things. I've made a lot of money. So I've got a few things that I can share, but I'm not always right, and I don't know all the answers. But I do want people to get ahead. I want to live in a country where more people who are better off. I don't want people living on the street or living in motels, or all the crime problems we've got. And more handouts is not fixing that. More taxes don't fix that. The only thing that really lifts the country, and I saw this living in Switzerland for a few years, really good education system, good health system, good housing, and a really strong work ethic. In Switzerland, people say that they live to work, not work to live. That you never. I'm not saying we need to live like that either, but you can't just do whatever you want and not put in any effort and expect a first world standard of living, right? And I don't even know if New Zealand is first world. We're not third, but we're not. New Zealand's pretty poor, and standards are really crap in so many areas. And I don't think we're taking it seriously enough. And I don't know and not enough people are saying it. Don't look at a problem and make it worse than it is, but don't look at a problem with rose-tinted glasses either. And that's something to take into business and take into property. My job as a developer is solving problems, right? It's managing people. It's getting people together to make things happen. So problems come up all the time. And now when a problem comes up, there's no point jumping up and down and shouting and screaming about it. But you can't gloss over it either. You need to look at the problem, assess it. What is the problem? Who does it affect? What is the cost of it? What are the different solutions? You sort of work through a process, right? And then you deal with it. But New Zealand is a property development project. We're a couple of little islands with a half a dozen people in the middle of nowhere. We need to be looking at our problems and dealing with them too, and not just I don't know, the way we look at stuff just frustrates me. But we've got to stay positive because we can make it better again. New Zealand is a beautiful country. We've got huge natural resources. We've got lots of opportunity here. We need to get stuck in, and it's one person at a time. If you can do more, you have a positive attitude, you work hard, you educate yourself, then that's one person who's doing better, right? And you're starting to lift, and you lift your friends and your family and the people around you, and you make your small group better. And if we all do that, then we'll make it a better place. So awesome. Thanks very much. See ya.